Beneath the towering structures of a nuclear power plant, something unexpected lurks in the water. Golden eyes break the surface, motionless, watching. Powerful tails ripple beneath the brackish currents. This isn't a hidden swamp deep in the Everglades, it's a man-made maze of canals, stretching for miles in the shadow of Turkey Point nuclear power plant. Yet, despite the hum of machinery and the glow of reactor towers, one of America's rarest predators has made this place home. The American crocodile, once on the brink of extinction, is not only surviving here, it's thriving. But how did these ancient reptiles come to inhabit such an unnatural landscape? And what does their presence reveal about the surprising relationship between industry and the wild? Stay with us as we unravel the mystery of how a nuclear power plant became an unexpected safe haven for one of nature's most formidable survivors. Florida is a land of contrasts, sun-soaked beaches, bustling cities, and vast wetlands teeming with life. It's also the only place in the United States where you'll find native crocodiles. While alligators dominate the swamps and rivers, their rarer cousin, the American crocodile, is far more elusive. Unlike the aggressive, territorial alligator, these crocodiles are shy, secretive, and prefer coastal waters where salt and freshwater mix. For decades, their numbers dwindled due to habitat destruction and human expansion. By the 1970s, only a few hundred remained in the wild. But just when their survival seemed uncertain, an unlikely sanctuary emerged, one that no one could have predicted. South of Miami, Turkey Point nuclear power plant was built to generate electricity for Florida's booming population. But beyond its massive reactors and miles of cooling canals, something remarkable was happening. In the shadows of industry, crocodiles were finding refuge, nesting, and slowly rebuilding their population. How could a nuclear facility provide the perfect conditions for a species on the brink? And what does this unexpected alliance between technology and nature reveal about the resilience of life? The answer is as surprising as the crocodiles themselves. Turkey Point nuclear power plant looms over the South Florida landscape, a fortress of concrete and steel built to power nearly 1 million homes. At first glance, it's the last place you'd expect to find one of America's rarest reptiles. Yet, hidden within its sprawling network of waterways, crocodiles are not just surviving, they're thriving. Stretching for 168 miles, the plant's cooling canal system is a vast, man-made labyrinth of water designed to regulate the facility's temperature. Many assume that these waters are radioactive, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The canals simply act as a giant radiator, cycling warm water away from the reactors and allowing it to cool before returning to the system. What was designed as an industrial necessity has become an accidental oasis. The brackish water, a mix of fresh and salt water, mirrors the crocodile's natural coastal habitat. The winding canals offer a perfect refuge, rich in fish and other prey. Elevated berms along the waterways provide ideal nesting sites, safe from rising tides and human disturbance. Most importantly, the area is off-limits to the public, shielding the crocodiles from the biggest threat to their survival, people. With no boats, no hunters, and no encroaching developments, Turkey Point has become one of the safest places for American crocodiles to rebuild their population. But how did scientists first discover that crocodiles were making a home here? And what did they do once they realized what was happening? The answer changed everything. The American crocodile has survived for millions of years, outlasting dinosaurs, ice ages, and drastic shifts in climate. But in the 20th century, its greatest challenge came not from nature, but from humans. Once common across South Florida, these reptiles saw their numbers plummet as coastal development exploded. Mangrove swamps and brackish estuaries, crucial nesting grounds, were drained and replaced with roads, resorts, and waterfront homes. The crocodiles that remained faced another danger: hunting. Feared by many and misunderstood, they were often killed on sight. By the 1970s, their population had dwindled to fewer than 300 individuals, pushing them to the brink of extinction. But then, something unexpected happened. In 1978, workers at Turkey Point stumbled upon a nest, hidden along the berms of the cooling canals. At first, it seemed like an anomaly, an isolated incident. But as scientists investigated, they realized this was no accident. More nests were found, and with them, a surprising discovery: the crocodiles weren't just surviving in the shadow of the nuclear plant, they were thriving. This revelation set off a chain reaction. Conservationists saw an opportunity to study and protect these endangered reptiles in a place where human interference was minimal. Turkey Point, once just an industrial facility, was about to become the front line of crocodile conservation. But why did these rare reptiles choose this unlikely refuge? What made Turkey Point such a perfect habitat when so many other places failed? The answer lies in the unique conditions of the canals themselves. For a species struggling to survive, Turkey Point offered something no other place could: stability. While much of South Florida's coastline was lost to human development, the nuclear plant's vast cooling canals remained untouched, creating a unique, self-contained ecosystem. First, there was an abundance of food. The canals, rich in fish and crustaceans, provided a steady supply of prey. Unlike the shrinking wetlands elsewhere, these waters were never overfished, ensuring the crocodiles always had something to eat. Then, there were the nesting areas. The plant's construction left behind elevated berms, raised strips of land that ran alongside the canals. These artificial ridges turned out to be perfect for crocodile nests, keeping their eggs safe from rising tides, flooding, and predators. But perhaps the most important factor was isolation. Turkey Point is a restricted facility, meaning no boats, no hunting, and no curious onlookers disturbing the crocodiles. In the past, human encounters often ended badly for these reptiles. Here, they could live and reproduce undisturbed, free from the biggest threat to their survival: people. Over time, the crocodiles adapted to their new home. They built nests, laid eggs, and watched their young hatch in the safety of the canals. Generations later, Turkey Point became the most concentrated nesting site for American crocodiles in all of South Florida. But their survival didn't happen by accident. Behind the scenes, scientists and conservationists were working tirelessly to protect them. And one man, in particular, made it his life's mission to ensure their future. Crocodiles may have found a refuge at Turkey Point, but their survival wasn't guaranteed. That's where Mike Lorette and his team of conservationists stepped in. With years of experience studying reptiles, Mike has dedicated his life to understanding and protecting these misunderstood creatures. Every year, he and his team patrol the cooling canals, tracking crocodile populations and ensuring their continued success. Using a combination of radio tracking, nest surveys, and hands-on monitoring, they gather crucial data on everything from hatchling survival rates to adult migration patterns. But their work is more than just numbers; it's about giving these reptiles a fighting chance. During nesting season, the team carefully searches for crocodile nests, making sure they're safe from flooding or other environmental threats. The process is delicate. A mother crocodile selects her nesting site carefully, scraping away the soil and laying anywhere from 20 to 50 eggs before covering them up for protection. When the eggs hatch, the real work begins. At night, under the glow of headlamps, Mike and his team wade through the canals, gently capturing the tiny hatchlings to take measurements. Each one is weighed, tagged, and assessed for health before being quickly returned to the wild. By tracking these young crocs from birth, scientists can measure population growth and understand the challenges they face. But even with human protection, life in the canals is still full of dangers. And for these fragile hatchlings, the real struggle for survival is only beginning. As the sun sets behind the towering structures of Turkey Point Nuclear Power Plant, the quiet canals come alive with new challenges. Mike Lorette and his team set out under the cover of darkness, their headlamps cutting through the inky blackness to track the crocodile hatchlings. These nighttime expeditions are vital for monitoring the young croc's growth and safety. But even in the shadows, danger lurks. The canals, though safe from human interference, are teeming with natural predators, from birds of prey to larger crocodiles that may see the hatchlings as a quick meal. The brackish waters, while rich in food, pose their own threats: shifting currents, sudden floods, and unexpected environmental changes. As they carefully capture each hatchling, measuring its size and weight, the team knows that only a small percentage of these young crocodiles will make it to adulthood. The odds are stacked against them. Many fall prey to predators, while others are overwhelmed by the harsh conditions of their environment. Yet, for the ones that survive, the future is filled with promise, if they can endure the perilous path ahead. The team's work is more than research, it's a fight to give these ancient survivors a chance to continue their remarkable story. Since the 1970s, when the American crocodile teetered on the edge of extinction, conservation efforts at Turkey Point have led to a dramatic population rebound. Thanks to the unexpected sanctuary offered by the cooling canals, the once dwindling crocodile numbers have flourished. What began as a small, fragile population of fewer than 300 individuals has grown into one of the most successful conservation stories in South Florida. Today, there are over 2,000 American crocodiles thriving in the area. A key component of this success has been the tagging and monitoring programs that track individual crocodiles throughout their lives. Using GPS trackers and carefully placed tags, Mike Lorette and his team gather invaluable data on migration patterns, breeding habits, and population health. This data helps scientists understand how the crocodiles are adapting to their environment and whether their recovery is sustainable. One of the most compelling examples of this tracking effort is the story of Croc 237, a mature female crocodile who was tagged as a hatchling in the 1980s. Over the years, scientists have followed her across the state as she moved between habitats, returning to Turkey Point to nest. Her journey not only showcases the resilience of the species but also highlights the critical role of these monitoring programs in ensuring the survival of the American crocodile. The story of the American crocodile at Turkey Point is a striking reminder that nature and human industry don't always have to be at odds. While many people see power plants and factories as threats to wildlife, Turkey Point has shown that with careful planning and an understanding of the environment, industry can become an unlikely ally to conservation. The cooling canals, originally designed to regulate the plant's temperature, have turned into a safe haven for one of America's rarest predators. This unexpected alliance underscores the resilience of life and the possibility for coexistence. Turkey Point's role in the recovery of the American crocodile is nothing short of extraordinary. It has become the most concentrated nesting site for these reptiles in all of South Florida, offering a rare sanctuary where the crocs can thrive without the pressures of human interference. This success story serves as a beacon of hope for other endangered species, showing that progress and preservation don't have to be mutually exclusive. As we look toward the future, the crocodiles of Turkey Point remind us that conservation and development can work together, creating solutions that benefit both humanity and the wild world. The lesson is clear: by embracing thoughtful innovation, we can protect our planet's most vulnerable species, rather than simply watching them fade away.